Thank you, Chief Secretary Dr. Martin Rushwaya. Members of the Fourth Estate, Cabinet received an update on the food security outlook to March 2025 and the 2024-2025 summer season, which was presented by the Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Honorable Dr. Anxious Jongwe Masuka. The current grain stock at the Grain Marketing Board is enough to meet the needs of rural communities until the next harvest in April 2025. A total of 1,349,000 metric tons, comprising 1,127,000 tons of maize, 220,000 metric tons of wheat, and 374 metric tons of wheat flour were imported by the private sector for commercial purposes. To date, 1,000 maize import permits have been issued to import 5 million metric tons. The government of Zimbabwe will continue to monitor the volume in terms of imports, stocks at millers, import prices, and the import sources in order to eliminate arbitrage opportunities. The 2024-2025 summer season plan aims to increase production of cereals to 3.2 million metric tons from the 744,000 metric tons produced during the 2023-2024 summer season. The overall production volumes of major crops are expected to increase by 340%. Cabinet wishes to advise that preliminary data shows that 99% of the targeted maize area for the 2024-2025 season had been planted. The Zimbabwe Statistics led the government-wide first round in terms of crops, livestock and fisheries assessment, which is now being finalized and will reveal more accurately the extent of the crop planting. Under the Presidential Input Scheme, the farming sector has achieved 11.4 million plots from a targeted 9.5 million plots, which translates to a 20% above target and 16% above the 2023-2024 season performance of 9.8 million plots. The total planted area under cotton is 203,875 hectares, reflecting a 40% increase from the 145,000 hectares recorded in the 2023-2024 season. Regarding tobacco, 127,000 growers have registered for the 2024-2025 season, reflecting a 10% increase from the 115,000 growers registered at the same time in the 2023-2024 season. Of the registered growers, 92% are participating under contract modalities under the Tobacco Food Security Initiatives all tobacco merchants are supporting their contracted tobacco farmers with maize and sorghum as well as the other inputs. The total planted area for tobacco is 132,000, which translates to 16% above the 2023-2024 season in terms of performance. Cabinet considered and approved measures to address challenges in the formal business environment, which were presented by the Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Honorable Professor Mthuli. Following the presentation of the monetary policy statement by the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe on the 6th of February 2025, Cabinet observed a number of factors that had negatively affected the economy and has therefore introduced a cocktail of short-term and long-term interventions aimed at addressing the challenges in the economy and also providing the requisite support to micro, to small, to medium scale enterprises. In broad terms, the government of Zimbabwe seeks to bring all businesses into the tax bracket and to enhance the effectiveness of the foreign exchange market. In the long term, the government of Zimbabwe will address the business environment in order to streamline fees, charges, and to minimize the duplication of work by various government agencies, as well as to improve and capacitate in terms of power generation. Such an environment will also enable MSMEs to graduate into formal businesses. Under the short-term measures, the use of electronic money will now be compulsory for all businesses and shall be achieved through the following: the introduction of a compulsory tax payment system to ensure that every eligible taxpayer complies with the tax legislation. The establishment of a domestic interagency team to ensure informal sector is in compliance with the tax legislation, and an introduction of a framework which will ensure that all vendor licensing by local authorities is done in consultation with central government. It will henceforth be mandatory that all vendors are promptly issued with point-of-sale machines, and that as part of the requirements, they will now have bank accounts upon registration or licensing. Cabinet further endorsed the refinement of the foreign exchange management system, the reduction of foreign currency retention level for exporters from 75% to 70%, the reduction in bank charges and minimum deposit interest rates. Under medium-term solutions, Cabinet has further adopted the following medium-term measures to ease the cost of doing business by streamlining processes, fees and charges, as well as duplication of work by government agencies to reduce the turnaround and cost to business. Ensure strict compliance with the indigenization and empowerment legislation, which provides for certain areas such as the reserved sectors. To enforce the procurement of goods and services from local producers and suppliers in order to support the local industry, and to expedite the construction of power plants and upgrading the distribution network in order to ensure the availability of electricity, to incentivize the use of alternative sources of energy and to expedite social protection coverage, to the informal sector. Government has also adopted the following short to medium term measures aimed at supporting micro, small to medium enterprises to formalize their operations: the establishment of designated workspace, the creation of a favorable regulatory environment, simplified taxes and rates, the strengthening provision of business development support, enforcement of the ban on second-hand goods, and the engagement of players in all sectors of the economy. Cabinet considered and adopted the proposed doctrine of Zimbabwe's foreign relations and international cooperation as presented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Honorable Professor Muswere. The doctrine provides guidelines for Zimbabwe's foreign policy based on His Excellency the President Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa's decision on the country's international relations in compliance with the Constitution of Zimbabwe. The doctrine also aims to guarantee the integrity, dignity, and prosperity of Zimbabwe through upholding the principles of mutual respect, mutual benefit, and mutual responsibility among all sovereign nations. The doctrine is founded on parameters or points of reference that serve to guide foreign policy development and application. These as follows: Zimbabwe is a friend to all and an enemy to none, leaving no one and no place behind. Nyika inovakwa nevene vayo, ilizwe lakiwa ngavanikazi valo. A country is built by its own people. Zimbabwe is open for business. Chimurenga chepfungwa, umvukela wengqondo, the liberation of the mind, and Zimbabwe will forever be a sovereign and independent state. The doctrine shall guide the approach of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade in its implementation of Zimbabwe's foreign policy, whose ultimate goal is to have a society that is free, democratic, prosperous, with people leading happy and fulfilling lives. Cabinet considered and approved the preparations for the 21st February commemorations report as presented by the Minister of Local Government and Public Works in his capacity as acting chairman of the Cabinet Committee on State Occasions and National Monuments, Honorable Engineer Daniel Garo. The 2025 National Youth Day celebrations will be held at Baba Field Stadium in Bulawayo Metropolitan Province from the 20th to the 21st of February 2025, in line with the thrust of the Second Republic to hold national events on a rotational basis. As a national holiday, duly proclaimed and gazetted, the event will provide a platform for young people to interact with His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, to showcase youth talent, businesses, and contributions to national development, to raise awareness on the dangers of drug and substance abuse, and to increase awareness, commitment, and investment in youth development initiatives, programs, and projects. Running under the theme, Empower Youth, Secure the Future, the main event on the 21st of February 2025 is poised to attract a total of 20,000 youths drawn from the country's 9 provinces, with the rest of the youths in all the provinces following proceedings in real time at designated vocational training centers and institutions of higher learning. All members of the youth in all the 10 provinces will be part of the proceedings. Foreign visitors, including ministers and youth council representatives from selected African countries, will be expected to attend the event. The pre-celebrations on the 20th of February 2025 will attract an estimated total of 5,000 youths drawn from schools and institutions of higher and tertiary education within Bulawayo Metropolitan Province and the nearby provinces. Highlights of the day will include a sporting and cultural fiesta, youth exhibitions, a clean-up campaign program, a community outreach program on drug and substance, and the Ikiba Nanga Gota Expo by the First Lady of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Amayo Celia Mnangagwa. Logistical preparations are already underway, with a total of 250 buses earmarked for equitable distribution to the country's provinces. Additionally, 15 shuttle buses will be availed to all constituencies in the Bulawayo Metropolitan Province for a successful 20th February 2025 program. Cabinet received and noted the report on the SADC and the East African Community Joint Summit on the Democratic Republic of Congo, which was presented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Honorable Professor Muswere. The joint summit was held on the 8th of February 2025 in the United Republic of Tanzania and was co-chaired by His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, as the chairperson of Southern Africa Development Community, and His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and also the chairperson of the East African Community. The summit called for a cessation of conflict in order to pave way for peace and development. Measures to entrench peace will be implemented through a ministerial task force from the 2 sub-regions of Africa, acting in unison. The heads of state and government of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, South Africa, Somalia, Rwanda, Uganda, the United Republic of Tanzania, Zambia, and Zimbabwe attended the summit. Burundi was represented by the Prime Minister, whilst Angola, Malawi, and South Sudan were represented by the ministers responsible for foreign affairs. Madagascar was represented by the Minister of the Armed Forces. The joint summit deliberated on the peace and security situation in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, following an escalation of conflict. A joint summit reaffirmed solidarity with the people of the Democratic Republic of Congo and committed to safeguarding the independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of the DRC, as well as its sustainable peace, security, and development. I thank you.
Thank you very much.